Stacy Swickert, and I am currently the Education Department Chair for the Port Tobacco Players. Today, we're going to be chatting with one of our company directors. His name is Ben Simpson, and he has been a prolific director, choreographer, actor for us for many years. So sit back and enjoy in the director's chair.
Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name is Ben Simpson. I am a director at Port Tobacco Players and a choreographer as well. I also am an actor, former board member. This is my year off. And I have my bachelor's degree in musical theater and dance from Lees-McRae College in beautiful Banner Elk, North Carolina. I was a professional actor for many years and then had a devastating ankle injury and reevaluated my life, moved back to Charles County, and have been part of the Port Tobacco Players again for about 10 years.
Awesome. So we're talking a little bit about like you as a director. We'd like to know more about you as a director. So what was the first production that you ever directed with PTP?
At PTP, the first show I directed was The Sound of Music, and that was 8 years ago, question mark. Let's see, Alora was 7, she's now 15. So yeah, 8 years.
Of all of the productions that you've directed, what was your favorite?
I don't like to answer that question. All the shows hold a special place in my heart. Sound of Music definitely was a favorite because it was the first. It was a great group of people. Last summer, Guys and Dolls was real special. Godspell was probably my favorite as far as artistic vision because we were able to really create our own show with the roadmap that we were given from the playwright and composer.
So speaking of that, then, what kinds of things do you consider when you're picking a piece to direct?
Well, I've directed a lot of different styles of shows. I have directed musicals and plays. I've directed newer works in both genres, as well as large-scale shows and smaller shows. A piece has to speak to me. There has to be a reason I want to do it, whether it be this is such high art or this is something that our audience probably really needs to experience, or is it simply glitter habits? How I sold Sister Act to my best friend Quentin. Picture it. Glitter habits. And we were in it to win it.
Can you walk me through your process as a director?
Oh, sure. First, obviously, to choose your show. What is your goal and your vision? Then obviously you need to put together a team, because without a team, the director can't do everything. As much as we want to, we can't put our hands directly on everything in the show. From there, it is working out what is your vision and expressing that to everyone involved, making sure that everyone understands where we're going with the piece, be it from color scheme to how the show flows and to what we want to accomplish. Is it just simple, silly fun, or does it have a higher purpose and meaning?
So that being said, which production presented you with the most challenges as you went on?
Oh, probably Calendar Girls was very challenging as a director. One, we had major things that we had to work out that we have not done at PTP, where our wonderful actresses were extremely brave and had to be very scantily clad on stage without giving anything away. That was a challenge within itself. Also, that show was originally written as a movie. Therefore, they rewrote it as a play. In a movie, obviously scenes cut to cut, super easy. In a play, 6 people cannot change costumes in 30 seconds, or at least in that time. So the scenes were designed that I had to make sure that people had time to change and that they flowed and that we weren't just sitting around waiting for 5 minutes for the 6 actresses to change clothes, because you had to show a passage of time. It was very important in the show. Also within that show, there were some beautiful artistic moments that we had to work out as far as technical elements. There were letters that had to fly from the ceiling and look like it was raining letters. The giant, beautiful sunflower drop that flew in. Thank you again, Kathy Mead, for working tirelessly to get that beautiful moment done that Tommy Scott just lit gorgeously.
So that leads me to ask you if there's a scene that you've staged that's like your favorite scene.
Oh, favorite scene to stage. I'll say as I think See How They Run, scenes that were very slapstick, but that the actors were able to utilize their own personalities to bring out a little bit more or even extra than I thought was possible. I think my biggest phrase for that show was bigger. Just make it bigger. And then I hear, bigger. Who knew? Was our quote after the opening night of that show. Bigger. Who knew people would find this funny? Becky Kuhn and Susan Claggett with their hilarious slapstick drunken comedy killed me every night. I always had so much fun staging those scenes with them. As a choreographer, some highlights definitely were working with the men with the Crap Shooters Ballet last summer. Having just that raw energy, and those gentlemen just gave it their all, because I told them I wasn't going to hold back. This was not going to be a simple step touch choreography. This was going to be a true musical theater ballet, and they rose to the challenge. So that would be one of the 2 highlights. And then the last one I'd like to discuss is I actually was tasked with directing our first, that I know of, at least, concert version of a show. And that was when we did Crazy for You in collaboration with the Cosmic Orchestra. It was a whirlwind, crazy experience that I'd like to do again now that I have more information. Also, maybe not pick a show that is so dance heavy where the plot really involves dance, and we had to utilize and highlight that. But it was just a really exciting experience for me as a director to think outside the box, and how are we going to do this when we don't have a giant set and we have 50 extra people with instruments sitting on our little stage, plus 20 actors trying to do an entire show. It turned out to be a wonderful experience that I know my parents and a few other people that I have talked to are like, when are you going to do another one of those? And I'd really like to try that at some point in time.
Nice. Is there a director who inspired you at PTP? Is there someone who really stood out?
Well, Jim Clyley is definitely somebody that I think of often. As an actor, I never really was a big Shakespearean actor, and then he cast me in a show, and I really kind of understood his process more, which helped me as a director. I also look back at Gordon Brown when I was young. Gordon directed me in The Wizard of Oz back in 98-ish. I was in high school at the time, and he just was so warm and welcoming, and you knew you were there for fun, but you also knew that we were there to do a job and to present a show. And I always, as a director, want to impart those 2 things to my cast and crew, that we're there for fun, we're all volunteers, but We are there to do a job. I like to hold people to a high standard. Coming from the professional world, this is what I get paid for. And our audiences expect, especially at Port Tobacco Players, a high caliber of talent and a wonderful experience to come to see our shows.
Is there a play or a musical that you would like to direct in the future?
Well, hopefully, after COVID, I will be directing Hello Dolly, which is one of my dream shows. Super excited about it. I love the classic musicals. The next show I really would like to put on is Ragtime. I feel in our world today, it has a pertinent meaning. Unfortunately, it's still issues of race and racial injustice that we need to fight, combat, and as performers, as a director, I can use my voice in the arts to convey that to our audience. I hold the philosophy that the arts are there to reflect the human condition. And part of the human condition is taking an introspective look on ourselves and on our own beliefs. And Ragtime really lets us do that through historical characters and fictional characters and how their stories are interwoven at the turn of the century.
That sounds amazing, actually. I'm very excited. So to close us out, what do you think is the most important job of a director?
Oh, the most important. You have so many. The director wears so many hats. Let me start and let me say this. If we use a metaphor, the theater is like a football team. And you have your producer, who's the owner, the director, who's the coach. Then you have your assistant directors of your stage manager, your lighting designer, scenic designer, costume designer, hair and makeup, on and on and on. Sound, Jason, I'm not going to forget you. So you have all of your assistant coaches that are, calling your defense and offense and special teams. Then you have your players, your actors. And it's the coach's job, the director's job, to make sure that they are all running as an efficient team, that everybody is communicating and working together for the greater good, which is the show. The director wears so many hats, just as a coach does. You're the leader, you are the psychologist, you are the babysitter. You really have to be able to switch gears quickly to make things work. I'd say the director's most important job is communication. To make sure that you're communicating with all of your designers, that they understand what you want. I am a very hands-on director. I definitely know what I want, and I ask and normally get what I want. But I do feel that you have to give and take. It's important that if a designer comes to you and they're like, there's no way we can do this, either maybe adjust and give them a new idea, or, okay, then what can we do? And work with them with that. On the actor side, you want everybody to have fun. You want everyone to hopefully learn something. As an educator myself, I always like to make sure that there's something that was learned, a new skill, a new appreciation. It's also important to understand where everyone's coming from and to listen to your actors to then be able to bring out their strongest performance. Everybody has lived a journey. They have a life that they live. Where do they come from? What background do they have that they can then bring to their characters? I do a lot of shows that do have children in them, and I think it's very important that those children understand that everyone's voice is valid, and we can be able to bring that out through our performances. That was a lot of talk around your question, but Just call me a politician.
I think all of those are right on the money for what a director does. I also think a director's kind of a cheerleader too.
Cheerleader, absolutely, yeah. Keeping everybody as positive as possible. And when you're not positive as possible, make sure that you've surrounded yourself with people that either can step in so you can step away for a moment, take that breath so then you can come back, or someone that can just call you out and be like, you need to do something else. You need to move this around. Like I like to surround myself with people that are going to challenge me and question me. And I expect them to feel the same way towards me, that I'm going to challenge them and question their choices sometimes as well. It's only working as a true collaborative team that quality shows are presented on our stage.
I think that's a great place to end.
All right. Well, thanks, Stacy.
Thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Great. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.